Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. Welcome back to Inside Arsenal. It is Friday. The weekend is very nearly here. It's North London Derby weekend, of course. So we will be speaking about that in today's show. We'll have a look at who could start, look at the big decisions facing Mikel Arteta. I'm going to head off to London Colney pretty soon after recording this, actually, for Arteta's press conference, which is going to take place at 1:30 p.m. over here in the UK. So should get an update from him on plenty of things, at no least the injury status, of course, of Ricardo Calafiori and Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain, suffering that horrible-looking ankle injury. So we might find out a little bit more about him, Gabriel Jesus, as well. So we're going to talk about that game in today's show, but we've got to start on the big news from yesterday. Of course, the Mikel Arteta signed his new Arsenal contract. We got that confirmation through about 12:30 p.m. Arsenal put the confirmation through, made it all official. And so you've got to talk about that. And look, everyone's very happy. Of course they are. Arteta, Edu, the Cronkies, the board. This is what everyone wanted. They wanted this deal done. It was always going to get done, as I spoke about in yesterday morning's show. There was never a feeling at Arsenal of any sort of concern or worry. I know amongst the fan base there was a little bit as it went on into the season. But, Arsenal were very confident that this was going to be a done deal. Everyone happy to continue the way they were going. And no surprise there, given what the sort of performances we've seen in the results and the improvements that we've seen on the pitch in the last few years. Josh Kroenke has been speaking about it. Edu's been speaking about it. Josh Kroenke talking about how delighted they are to sign the contract. He said Mikel is a dynamic and passionate manager who is relentless in the pursuit of excellence. He has a deep understanding of Arsenal's value, and since joining us in 2019, he's taken the team to another level in an Arsenal way. Edu saying we're really happy that Mikel has signed a new long-term contract. It's a very positive and proud moment for everyone at the club and an important part of what we're working towards. Mikel has shown his quality since the very first day he joined us, not only as a football manager, but as a person with wonderful values. We have a strong belief in what we are doing and we want to achieve things together. Mikel's new contract gives us stability and a clear direction as we aim for new heights. And he's talking about new heights there. And obviously, and I spoke about it in yesterday's video, and when he talks about new heights, this is clearly the period where Arsenal want to see proper success. And when I talk about proper success, of course, I mean trophies. You had, this is the third contract Mikel Arteta has signed since he's been at Arsenal. You had the initial contract when he arrived, and the first job there was just to right the wrongs of previous decisions and to try and get Arsenal back on track, because he picked up the pieces when Arsenal were pretty much at rock bottom. And, everything was a mess. The crowds had disappeared. The stadium was half empty. The football was awful. The results were awful. And he had to sort it out. And it was difficult, but he managed to sort it out. And that was that first part of the contract. The second contract was about improving things and getting Arsenal back competing towards the top of the table. He's obviously done that. But now with this third contract, it's got to be about winning. Obviously, it's easier said than done, as I spoke about in yesterday's show, because ultimately you've got to get past arguably the best team the Premier League's ever seen to win things. And in the last 2 years, Arsenal have come close. They've pushed them all the way, but they have fallen short. So now the biggest challenge he has got now that faces him is to go that one step further, to get past Manchester City, to win silverware, to bring trophies back to Arsenal, because they need them. They need big trophies. It's been too long. We talk about the Invincibles. It's mad to think how long ago that was now. 20 years since the Invincibles. 20 years since the last title has been won at Arsenal. It's just far too long. Hopefully Arteta can do that, and that is certainly going to be at the very top of his agenda in these next 3 years, no doubt about it. Hopefully he does it this year, which would be very, very nice indeed. Right, this is what Mikel had to say about his new contract, and he was asked about the main objective, and this is sort of following on from what I've just been talking about, and he was asked, what's the main objective now? And he says to win it. It has to be that. It has to be the aim, but understanding that we have to enjoy the process. We have to be able to get the best version of ourselves every single day to achieve that. The outcome, we can't control it. The process of every single day, doing the right thing, thinking out of the box, our commitment, our determination, how we can win matches from every angle in every game. Outside the game, our determination, our vision, that has to be every single day at that front. Then the end result, we want it. The margins are so small, and I think we are going to be close. We are unique in the way we do things, the joy of our people, whether they are players, staff, the board, the ownership, supporters, that they feel attached to the club and how we do things. For me, this is the biggest value that any club, any brand can have. Then we have to add trophies to that for sure. And we will do our best to achieve that. And again, what he talks about there in that very last paragraph, bringing everyone together, that was such a massive thing when he first walked through the doors. I remember sitting in that first press conference at the Emirates Stadium in on December the 20th, I think it was, 2019, when he sat there And he was asked, what are you going to bring as Arsenal manager? What do you have to do to sort this club out? And he immediately was talking about bringing everyone together. He said he could, because he'd been there at Manchester City the week before, hadn't they, when City had won at the Emirates, half-empty Emirates. And he said he was shocked by the atmosphere, or the lack of the atmosphere, and how just broken everything felt. And so his big thing then was building everyone together, getting the fans behind the club, getting everyone pulling in the same direction. And they've done that fantastically well. But as he says at the very end, then we have to add trophies to that. And they do. Arsenal need to win trophies. You can't put this squad together and not win anything. That would be such a shame. And it would be very, very hard to keep the squad together if that was the case as well. So winning is everything, no doubt about that. And that is the big, big challenge he now faces in these next 3 years of his stay at Arsenal, is to bring that success back to the Emirates. Loads and loads of reactions from you guys. Thank you very much for getting in touch and giving me your thoughts on what you had to say. You got John here, says, such a clever guy. Unlike the blinkered one-trick managers of old, he looks at things from every angle, gets everything right. And get everything right, and we have the best club in the PL, possibly in Europe. Big players want to play for us. Look at Chelsea. It's the opposite of that. Players are so relieved and revived when they leave that club. We will win trophies for sure. We will either win the PL this year or next for sure, and we will win cups. Mikel Arteta is the man. Royal Stad sort of follows on from that. It says, on Arteta's new contract, I'm delighted after riding out the waning Wenger years and the doldrums of the post-Wenger era. With all the discouraging twists and turns, I couldn't be happier with Arteta, who has brought us smoothly into a unified, positive and highly expectant quality team and club. What's not to like? Look at what other clubs have suffered trying to find what Arteta has done so wonderfully well for us. Liverpool, United, Chelsea, many other clubs trying this manager, failing, trying that manager, failing, all the while seeing the squad become more disjointed with each turn. Arteta has done wonderfully well. Good comments there. I agree 100%. HPM 92377 says, even without the trophies, I'm so happy with the journey. The Emirates is a great place to be. I watch games not fearing for my life about a shaky defence like I used to. We're showing up against the big six and taking points off our rivals. Of course, a trophy at the end would be nice, but believe me, United fans genuinely hate watching their team. Genuinely hate tuning in to watch their team because they never know what they're going to get. And yes, Erik ten Hag has won more trophies than Arteta, but as a fan watching the football week in, week out, I know who I'd rather support, and that's from Matt. So thank you very much, you guys, for that comment. Cullen PC says, delighted with the Arteta news. I don't understand the people who want him out. Remembering where we were as a club when he took over and seeing the progress he makes year on year. If it's not for the absolute juggernaut that is City, who are led by the best manager in the world, perhaps ever, he'd have won more silverware. But still, even after coming close twice, I still feel he is the best chance we have to overcome City and Pep. I just don't see anyone else coming in and doing a better job. So yeah, very happy with the news and looking forward to seeing what we will deliver. And another one from Denlar says, I personally think Arteta's new contract is a really good thing. Keeps the consistency within the club for a start. And I feel we are really close to finally winning some decent silverware. I think once we get that first major trophy, it will change the club mentality of this squad from knowing that they can challenge to knowing they can win. Along with a few more top signings, I feel we'll truly dominate for some years to come. Keep up the great work. And that's from Dennis. Sorry, so thank you very much. Just a few more now before I move on. Said on the Arteta, this is from Dominic, on the Arteta contract. I do understand why people feel he has to win something before he's given a new contract. However, there is some clear logic to why it's been done now, because it allows Arsenal to keep control of his future. If we wait until the end of the season, then negotiate, Arteta holds all the power and could walk and Arsenal get nothing. So personally, I think it's the right decision. But of course, having restored our club from the doldrums, he does now need to take us forward and deliver trophies. And then a few more here. PBP says, a lot of money has been spent. We've won nothing. We've not won anything yet. Looks like another barren season on the horizon. Yet we're rushing to hand the new contract. Small club mentality. And Steve says, I've already seen lots of negative comments about Arteta staying longer, and I do get the frustration. I do believe he needs to win the title in that time or give someone else a go. And yeah, it's not all positive. You know, lots of people, and I've seen it not just in those last few comments there, but other people online, questioning why Arteta needed a new contract now. Why not wait till the end of the season? I mean, personally, I just don't think he can wait till the end of the season, because then, as that other comment showed, he's out of contract, basically. You've got no bargaining position at all. He's not going to like that. And it just wasn't going to happen. They're always going to sign a new contract at this early stage. But thank you very much. Lots of replies. There was loads more I couldn't read out as well, because there was just too many of them. I'd have been sitting there reading them out for about 30 minutes or so. Thank you very much for your replies. I appreciate it. And yeah, that's the reaction to Mikel Arteta's new contract. Right, moving on to the small matter, of course, of the North London derby on Sunday. Just a small little game. Yeah, and I just wanted to talk about some of the big decisions facing Arteta. And again, I'm going to be heading to London Colney or the Shoba Realty Centre, very, very soon. And we'll get the latest on from Arteta on who potentially could play, because we don't know yet about Gabriel Jesus. We don't know yet about, obviously, Ricardo Calafiori. I mean, we know that Martin Odegaard's not going to play in this game, but we don't know yet the full extent of his injury. So how could Arsenal line up? Who is going to start against Spurs? It's been what we've all been debating, all of us, I'm sure, you and your mates, me and my mates. Who's going to start this game? It's going to be really interesting to see what Arteta does. He's got some big decisions to make in terms of, if Gabriel Jesus is fit, do you start Jesus? Do you bring him back in to the side and let him lead the line rather than having, say, Leandro Trossard playing as your false nine, or Kai Havertz playing as your false nine, or Martinelli, someone like that? I think a lot of it obviously is going to depend if Jesus is fit, how sharp he's been looking all week in training. If Arteta believes he's ready, then it probably it makes it a pretty easy decision. I think he would start. If he thinks he can make 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and he looks sharp, I reckon Arteta would do that. I just wonder if he is going to be deemed sharp enough to play this game. If Jesus isn't fit, I think I'd definitely go with Trossard personally as the central striker for me, playing in that false nine role with Kai Havertz playing just deep. You've got the Ethan Nwaneri situation. Some interesting stuff from Cesc Fabregas. He was speaking ahead of North London derby about the possibility of Ethan playing in this game. Fabregas said to the BBC, "I have no doubts that if Mikel puts him in a starting 11 or even in during the game, it's because he has seen that he's good enough to make an impact. Obviously, the consequences of Rice and Odegaard being out helps and makes it a little bit faster than he would have liked. But definitely it means that he is on his mind. If he's part of the squad, it's because he really believes he can bring something to the table. I would also like to see Trossard in midfield. I know he likes to come in from the wing, but he has the capabilities and qualities to play that role of Odegaard, a bit more of offensive midfielder, a number 8 or a number 10. I think he's got the qualities to do that. Probably Partey and Jorginho will be the other two midfielders, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, it's great to see young players making it in the Premier League. See, I'm not sure about Trossard in that central role. I just don't like him. I'm yet to see Trossard play in that role and really, really like what I've seen. I much prefer him playing out wide or in that top central, the false 9 role. If you got a sort of choice out of those two, I'd be playing Trossard as a 9 and Havertz behind all day long, because I've just not seen enough. But obviously Fabregas has very different opinions on that, and I think Fabregas is slightly more qualified than I am, I imagine, to be able to give those opinions. On Ethan, again, I think it's a big decision. We've spoken about it at length on this channel during the week. Myself and James sat down and talked about it on Inside Arsenal Extra Time as well. I'd have no issues with Nwaneri starting. If I went there on Sunday, got the team sheeting out before the game and saw Nwaneri's name on it, I'd be really, really excited about the prospect of seeing how he gets on. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think he'll be on the bench for me. But it would be a really, really interesting thing, and what a huge moment it would be for Ethan as well. And you got Raheem Sterling, of course. What do you do with Raheem Sterling? Do you give him his first start? He's had 2 weeks now training, just over 2 weeks training with the squad. Does he come in for this game? He's huge, hugely experienced player, so much big game experience. Arsenal missing some big players. Do you turn to Sterling on his first start? Do you potentially move him out wide? Do you play him as a false 9, which you can do? Do you play him as a number 10 role, like a few of you have suggested in the week? I think that's a big decision. Jorginho's been speaking about Raheem Sterling as well, and he said, the club, especially Mikel and Edu, with what they're doing, that who they are bringing in is just right. So something good is going to happen for sure with Sterling. Then you see there's a player that that you played with, and the qualities already. You know how they can help. You feel like you know him to give him the ball already, so you don't need to get to know him. He's going to be great for us with his qualities. He's won already. I think it was a good signing. I think he can add a lot to the team, and he does have that. No, it's not. I think what Jorginho says is really correct when it comes to Sterling. You're not going to have to get used to him, even if you haven't played with him. And Jorginho obviously has, but even if you haven't, has Jorginho played with Sterling? I'm just saying that, and I'm just wondering if Jorginho left Chelsea before Sterling arrived. I can't quite remember. But even if you haven't played with him, everyone's seen him in the Premier League for so long, and lots of players at Arsenal have played with him for England as well. He's just not a player that you're going to have to get used to playing with, because you just know him. We all do. We've all seen him play so much, and that should be a boost, and it should help him settle into the team an awful lot quicker. Here's one from my Mr. Smythe, who's talking about the injuries that Arsenal have got at the moment ahead of the game on Sunday. He says, you can take Rice, Marino and Odegaard out of our midfield and we can still play Jorginho, Partey and Havertz, which is great. Take De Bruyne, Rodri and Gundogan out of City and it becomes Kovacic, Silva and Rico. I don't think we lack depth. We just have too many out. Take the big three out of City and they look far weaker in comparison to. Take Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and McAllister out of Liverpool, and who have they got? Take Sarr, Maddison and Basuma out of Spurs, and they look very different. I don't buy the idea we have a lack of depth. We've got plenty. We literally have 2 or 3 of our squads capable of playing midfield. I've been speaking about this week. I think what we're looking at now, given the players that are out, Arsenal's first choice for midfield 3 are out in terms of Rice, Odegaard and Marino. And yet you're still looking at a midfield that's going to contain Thomas Partey, Jorginho, and then potentially Kai Havertz or Leandro Trossard or someone like that, even Ethan Nwaneri. It does show that Arsenal have got a huge squad. You know, everyone's saying, "Oh, this Arsenal it shows we've not done enough in transfer window." I don't buy that. I think where Arsenal there is definitely a lack of cover for natural cover for Martin Odegaard, but Arsenal have still got a very, very good team. That team they put out on Sunday is still going to look very, very strong. And I think you're absolutely right. You take 3 City's first choice midfielders out of that team, and suddenly they're looking nowhere near as strong. Especially Liverpool as well. It's Arsenal have got a good squad, no doubt about it. I do feel, and I've said it all the time, that I felt they were probably one short in attacking area, whether that be an Odegaard cover or another striker. It just feels like they're one player short, but they've still got a very good squad and they've still got a very good chance of going to Tottenham on Sunday and getting a decent result despite the players they are going to be missing. And we'll find out, as I said, a little bit more about who is going to be missing later on at the press conference. I will try and do a video afterwards, whether that be from Colney or if I have time or I get back here and do one afterwards. I will try and do another sort of small update video after the press conference, giving the latest news of the biggest lines from Mikel Arteta. So make sure you tune back in to the channel a little bit later on today to try and catch that. And I'll also be doing one in the morning previewing the North London derby. So you want to get your team selections in, give me your preferred 11s for that game. I'll pull some of them together and get them included in tomorrow's preview show. Until then, have a great day, everyone. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.